Hey everyone, it is Wednesday, May 17th, 2017, and it's time to go to work on music. It's been a great day so far, back in the groove on the time management front, which feels amazing, and I'm excited for a great session. So, we're going to hit some online classes as usual. We're going to do some drum work today, keep that pretty light, and then we're going to hit the production front hard and make sure that the melody on this horn line really pops. I'll take you guys along for the ride, explain as much as I can as we go. Let's get it. Boom. All right. Great session today. Definitely a little shorter than I would have liked. So I'm going to take that into the next few days and just make sure that I give myself enough time to like really cook. And I'm just negotiating a lot of different things with my other commitments right now and like the best timing around that. And I'm making some changes to try to improve the overall workflow. And I think like sometimes it's like you're taking one step back to take two steps forward. So that's my hope, at least in this situation. So I'll update you guys as that goes on. But today was good. Um, yeah, getting deeper in the music technology class, just coming up with some creative ideas of how I might use Python and the AirSketch library to for my own ends, and then learning a little bit more about branding and imaging, getting an exercise for cover art, just um, what I'm about to do is go through and do a bunch of research of cover art for bands that are in a reasonably similar genre to me, and just start to pick out what I like and what I don't like as far as the aesthetics go, and then just find a couple ones that I like and click through their websites and their social media pages and just see how consistent they are with their brand across across the different platforms. See how consistent they are with their message, basically, and then see if that matches what I think the music would sound like, which is a really interesting exercise. I think whether I decide to employ that or not. It's the same thing as learning music theory, guys. It's like knowing how Bach did stuff or how Mozart did stuff, or like why a lot of people like the five chord resolving to the one chord. Like just knowing that doesn't mean you have to do it. But knowing that is empowering by itself, because then when you want to follow the rules, you know how to do that, and then when you want to disobey the rules, you know how to do that also. And I'm not saying you have to know that to make great music. I'm just saying, like, for me personally, that is how I see like this whole business and marketing thing is like a toolkit. It's like I can exercise as much of it as I want whenever I want, and I want that freedom. I don't want to be the person who's just winging it, hoping for the best. There's a time and a place for that in creative endeavors, but just for me right now, I feel like where I'm at is trying to be a little more systematic with stuff. So that may change, but that's been great. And then I was moving deeper on the harmony class. Basically, what I was doing is what I was talking about yesterday, is like starting with a regular chord and then just adding color tones to it and just describing to myself in terms of like words or images that come to mind, colors, like literal colors like light green or like dark blue or something like that, describing the chord colors to myself so that next time I want like a thoughtful chord or like a thoughtful vibe in the song, I'll know like, okay, maybe I'll go for a sus2 or an add2 or something, or I want to brighten up my major chord by adding a 2 to it, or I want to like make my major chord a little more bittersweet by adding the seventh or something like that. It's just about having a vocabulary literally that I can use to be a little bit more intentional and a little more efficient when I'm composing. So that's been awesome. I've been wanting to get into that type of stuff for a long, long time, and I feel like finally I'm cracking that code, which is just it just feels great. So then I took a break and did some drum work, just trying to maintain my skills, move a little forward with some coordination and just expression, ideas, things like that. Just keep the basics moving forward without going too hard on it. Then did some reading out of my arranging book, just learning more about chromatic approach chords and how you pretty much just want parallel motion going from your chromatic tone to the next chord tone, which means like you're gonna have the same, like it was basically what I was saying yesterday. It's like you're gonna have the same exact intervals in the previous approach chord that moves into the other chord, so it'll have the same chord quality. Like if you're resolving to a major chord, you want your approach chord to be a major chord, and that makes sense if you're thinking parallel motion because you're just going like from, if you're thinking purely chromatic, you're going one half step up with every note in the chord, and it actually sounds pretty cool. It sounds fresh, sounds different, and it doesn't sound bad. So I'm stoked on that. That's been knowledge I've been seeking out for a long time as well, and it's just amazing that all this stuff is coming together right now. It's really a beautiful thing. And then I got in on the production front. I was just tweaking some of the horn sounds that I was working on yesterday, just trying to get the melody to really pop, even just with octaves as the support. And maybe I'm just going to go octaves on this one. I'm going to play around with some fifths, starting with fifths, which is like the closest relationship to the octave. Maybe play around with some fourths, sixths, thirds, maybe seconds here and there. But like the melody is like bizarre enough and syncopated enough, I think, that like maybe messing with too many of the harmonic elements at the same time is going to be overkill. One thing I've noticed that one of my really all-time favorite bands does, called Carnival, they're from Australia, progressive rock band, just amazing stuff. One thing I've noticed that they do really well is if they're doing something weird in the song, then every other part or every other aspect of the song remains quite normal. So like if they're doing something really weird rhythmically, like a strange odd time signature or something, then like harmonically it'll be really stable, or sonically it'll be really stable, or they're not moving the melody around too much. Whereas if they're doing something really, really weird harmonically and melodically, then like the rhythms will, for the most part, remain relatively familiar. So maybe that's the idea that I'm going to integrate here. Like if my melody's moving around with some weird intervals and weird harmonies by itself with the bass line, like maybe just octaves is enough without like complicating it too much. But I'm going to experiment with that and just try to use it in my own development. What I was doing at the end was just really trying to get the rhythm right, trying to get the groove totally locked with the horn section. I don't know if now's the time to do that actually, because I might end up re-recording some of that stuff, so that might not be the most efficient route right now. What I might want to do is map out the pre-chorus and the chorus a little bit, which I think is probably the next move for this song, and then just try to get the overall arrangement done, and then I'll come back later and start tightening everything up. So I think that's probably the move to make now. So anyway, just updating you guys on what I'm up to, just grinding toward my goals, enjoying the process as much as possible, having fun with it, enjoying it, enjoying the struggle and the challenge, and just embracing the growth that's inherent with moving forward with that stuff. I hope you guys are out there doing the same. Hope you took something valuable away from today's video, and I'll see you guys tomorrow for more. Till then.